Money is leaving Australian bank accounts every single week, and most people have absolutely no idea it's happening. Not because they're reckless, not because they're bad with money, but because the world has quietly shifted, the costs have quietly compounded, and nobody stopped to do the maths on what these 5 things are actually costing them every year. Today, we're going through 5 things that are bleeding the average Australian dry, things that feel harmless, maybe even necessary, but that are stacking up to thousands of dollars a year that could be building real wealth instead. Let's start with number 1. Number 1. Stacked streaming subscriptions. 3 in 10 Australians are currently paying for duplicate or unused apps and streaming services without realizing it. The average Australian spends $14 more per month than they think they do on subscriptions. That's $168 a year disappearing quietly every month from your bank account. But that's just the average. Think about what you're actually subscribed to right now. Netflix, Stan, Disney+, Spotify, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, YouTube Premium, maybe a news subscription, maybe a meditation app. Add those up and you're looking at $80 to $150 a month. That's $960 to $1,800 a year on content you might watch for an hour before falling asleep. The fix isn't radical. It's one afternoon. Open your bank app, search recurring or monthly, and write down every subscription. Cancel everything you haven't used in the last 30 days. Rotate, subscribe to one at a time, binge, cancel, move on. Australians who do this regularly save $600 to $900 a year. That's invested in VAS for 20 years at 7% annual return, worth over $2,300 in today's money, for every $100 you redirect. Number 2. Buy now, pay later. As of March 2026, 41% of Australians have used a BNPL service in the last 6 months. For millennials, that number is 59%. The average outstanding BNPL balance is $1,110, and the average late fee per incident, $119. Here's the psychology trap. BNPL is designed to make $200 feel like $50. Split into 4 fortnightly payments, the brain stops registering it as a $200 purchase. You buy it. You barely notice the repayment, and then you do it again and again, and the debt silently stacks. The brutal reality is that BNPL has a 0% interest rate if you pay on time. So it's not the interest killing you, it's the behavioral effect. People who use BNPL regularly spend 15 to 20% more than people who pay with cash or debit for the same items. You're not getting a deal. You're paying more for the privilege of not feeling it. Number 3. Brand new cars on finance. A new car loses 10 to 15% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. By year 3, it's lost close to 40%. And with the RBA cash rate currently at 4.1%, car loan rates from dealerships are sitting between 7% and 12%. On a $50,000 car loan over 5 years at 9% interest, you're paying over $13,000 in interest alone. That's on top of the depreciation. So you're driving a $50,000 car that's worth $30,000 and you've paid $63,000 for it. The alternative, a 2 to 3-year-old version of the same car loses half the depreciation hit and typically costs $20,000 to $30,000 less. You finance less, you pay less interest, and you end up with a near identical car. The person who does this over a lifetime versus the person who always buys new, we're talking a $150,000 to $200,000 wealth difference by retirement from cars alone. Number 4. Food delivery apps and daily takeaway. The average Australian household spends $340 a month on food delivery apps. That's $4,080 a year. A fast food combo meal in 2026 is now $15 to $18. A delivery service charge adds $5 to $8 on top of that. The platforms charge restaurants up to 35% commission, meaning the food you're getting isn't even that fresh, because restaurants have to cut costs somewhere. The $6 coffee on the way to work is the one everyone argues about. A coffee isn't going to make me rich. And they're right in isolation. But 5 coffees a week is $30. That's $1,560 a year. Add the $340 a month in Uber Eats, and you're at $5,640 a year. Invested at 7% annual return over 20 years, that becomes $23,000. Nobody is saying never eat out. But the Australians quietly building wealth are the ones who made this a conscious choice, not a reflex. Number 5. Unused gym memberships. Australians spend over $11 billion a year on gym memberships. The average gym membership costs $77 a month, and almost 1 in 5 members never go. That's nearly $2 billion a year paid to gyms that Australians never walk into. The psychology here is fascinating. The gym membership feels like an investment in yourself, so even when you're not going, cancelling it feels like giving up. The gym industry knows this. They make most of their money from people who signed up in January and stopped going by March but kept paying until they finally got around to cancelling in November. The fix is simple. If you haven't been in 30 days, cancel today. Free alternatives running, YouTube workouts, calisthenics deliver identical health outcomes for zero cost. The $77 a month you cancel? That's $924 a year back in your pocket. Now let's add this up, because seeing it all together is what actually changes behavior. Unused subscriptions $600 to $900 a year. BNPL overspending effect conservatively $500 to $1,000 a year in extra purchases. Car finance on a new vehicle versus used $3,000 to $5,000 a year in higher repayments and depreciation costs. Food delivery and daily coffee $4,000 to $6,000 a year. Unused gym membership $924 a year. Conservative total $9,024 to $13,824 per year. Invested at 7% annual return for 20 years. That's $440,000 to $675,000. That's not a small lifestyle adjustment. That's a retirement, built entirely from things you're currently paying for and getting almost nothing from. The Australians getting ahead aren't necessarily earning more, they're just leaking less. Every dollar that stops leaking is a dollar that can compound quietly, steadily, over decades into the kind of financial cushion that means you never have to stress about money again. This isn't about being frugal. This isn't about giving up a life you enjoy. It's about being intentional, knowing where your money goes, deciding, not defaulting. As always, this is educational content, not financial advice. Speak to a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions. If this opened your eyes to where your money is actually going, subscribe. Next week, why everything changes after you save your first $20,000 in Australia. See you then.